Oh, hey. Oh, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. My name is Johnny Hanson, and these are my lofty thoughts. And today is episode 77. 7-7. That's good luck, I think. I'll take it as good luck. I want it to be good luck, and darn it, it's going to be a good day. If I die trying, it's going to be a good day, I think. Okay, well, thank you for joining me. And, I'm here just to kind of run down a few things. The first thing I wanted to say today, I'm going to put a video at some point in time here. I'm going to talk about it first, and then I'll probably put the video. But I was arriving to a job site over in Longwood, Florida. And in this neighborhood, right as I'm pulling up, it's like 7:45 in the morning. And we're working on an exterior that we're painting. And I look off in the distance, and there's like an albino peacock. No, I didn't take mushrooms or LSD in the morning time, and I haven't had ayahuasca recently or any of that stuff. I'm just totally clear and sober. Going to work, for God's sakes. What's wrong with you? And there's this albino peacock, and I took 35 seconds. Hi, peacock. Albino peacock? Is that a thing? Are you a pet? Albino peacock. Not weird. Not weird at all. Are they common? Who's to say? Hi. This one is 8 feet from me. It feels like I could hand feed it. Oh, right. Well, for your enjoyment. Second video as I followed around just to prove that it existed, because I thought for a second maybe I was having a flashback. It seemed impossible, and I thought, wow, this is a magic moment. This is so cool. Whereas anybody else, and the minute it went back into this other area that went down into the woods, then both of my employees show up for the day. Perfect timing. Hey guys, I just seen an albino peacock. And my guy Dave goes, yeah, there's 3 of them back over that way too. And there's a dozen regular peacocks down that way. And I go, oh, what, they're everywhere around here? And then the homeowner comes out and I go, you aware there's an albino peacock flying around? And he goes, oh, we hate those things. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, they're loud, which we know because there is some peacocks in our area too. You get them down here in Florida. They're super loud. It's like, beep, 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 beep. It's violent. We hate it. We thought it was cool like the first day. It sounds like it's really unclear what it was until you hear it, and then you can't unhear it. And once you know that it's that, you go like, it's not as pretty. And they never blow out those feathers. They always just kind of walk around, and from a distance, they look like any of the other kind of larger birds they have here. They're not that interesting. But I thought it was cool, so I took a little video. I'm going to put it right here, and then you can check it out. And now we'll move on to the next thing, which is, oh my gosh, this is funny. Jared, I don't know if Jared listens. He said he was going to from time to time. We'll see. He goes to church. He's a guy at my church. And this is funny. This is a compliment. However, I think it's funny. I receive things. People say things, and I receive them, and those don't always mean the same thing. And I took this. By the way, it is a compliment. I received it as a compliment, but it's funny how compliments sometimes are packaged. And he goes, hey man, I've been listening to UPD, which is our other podcast, The Untrained Philosophical Discussionist. He goes, I can't believe you didn't tell me about it. And I said, well, we have a couple of reasons for that. We don't want to exploit our church. We don't want to leverage our church to make our podcast successful. That feels a bit underhanded and a little greasy, and we don't want to do that. We just would like organically for people to find out. He goes, but I'm a friend. And I go, that's true. I should have sent you something and I haven't, but I'm so glad you're checking it out now, and thank you and sorry. And he goes, no problem. He goes, by the way, he goes, I want to compliment you. And I go, ooh, let me get ready. I didn't do that. He goes, but let me kind of disclaimer it. I go, do you have to? No, I didn't say that either, but I thought it. And he goes, well, you're kind of just a blue collar guy. And, there's nothing wrong with that. And I go, no, I'm a blue collar guy. I own a painting business. Yeah, that's about as blue collar as it gets, working outside with your hands all the time. Because I'm not the guy that owns the company and then sits in a building. I run it out of my house, which means I'm on the job site every day with the other guys that do the same thing. I'm there all day. I do the most dangerous stuff, usually just so that I don't risk anybody else's life. I wouldn't like that, and I don't like that. So I just do the most ridiculous stuff that has to get done. I do that. Okay. What am I giving my bona fides here? He goes, and I've seen you work. You painted my house some years back, and he goes, you're a nice guy and everything. And he goes, but boy, listen to that podcast. He goes, you're an intelligent guy. I go, have I not presented that way before? And he goes, no, that's not what I'm saying. And I go, I tend to not. And I go, honestly, really, my friendship with Andy's helped me because I would swear so much that I sounded foolish. And I think in the last, 9 months or so, I've really worked hard to, in place of cursing, use better words that make more sense and that, are more applicable. And by the way, makes cursing all the time, swearing all the time, swearing all the time, it's limiting. It shuts people down because you can only hear it in certain places, or generally you only hear it in certain places. And it just limits. It's a more limited vocabulary. You end up using it as a crutch. I did, rather. I'm not I don't know what you do. I used it as a crutch, and I've worked hard not to do that anymore. In fact, it's expanded the necessity of vocabulary. And he goes, just like that. Look at that. See, there's another thing. And I think I said it a little slicker and quicker. I didn't fumble my way through it as much. I was a little more on point that day. And he goes, see, that's it. And he goes, it's cool. I'm glad. He's like, it's awesome. And I'm glad for it. And I go, thank you. And it was very kind. But I think it was funny that he disclaimered it because he goes, you're a blue collar guy. And and I think I pinned it down with the swearing. And he goes, yeah, I think that limits. Should end up becoming a bit of an exploratory thing, but I thought that was funny because here's a compliment. That's how I always receive compliments, by the way. No one ever just full out says, hey, Johnny, good job. I guess that'd be too much for any individual. They always have to disclaimer it. Hey, Johnny, I would like to pay you a compliment, but let me make sure we temper your ego. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, I need that always. Thank you, God, for putting that in their heart always, too. That's great. My wife is like, boy, that shirt looks nice. Too bad. The other thing. All right, honey. Just keep me real small. Just kidding. Okay, so I promised last time, and now I would like to get to movie report. I want to talk about the movie Tombstone. Frickin' Tombstone. I love frickin' Tombstone, and my wife had never seen it. We watched it a few days ago, and she loved it too. And I mentioned it to, well, first off, I want to say how awesome Val Kilmer. God, his character is so good, right? All those classic things that are said in that movie are because he said them. And it's this, he was so slick. Everybody else was cool. Everybody else was real cool. It's an awesome movie. Billy Bob Thornton looks fat and weird. It's unbelievable how much different looking he became. And that somehow that is the younger version of him. And then you watch him for like another 20 years look younger than that fat dude. And then now he looks like an older guy. Now he looks like an old rocker or something. I think the last time I seen him, geez, whatever he does now, who knows. But God, he looked fat and old in that. He looked like he was like 50 then. And then you seen him in other movies and he like somehow looked 30-ish. And then now he looks 135, I think. He looks petrified, sort of. Now, gosh, I won't be adding you at this, buddy. But I was going to say Val Kilmer's role as, God, he was so awesome. He's such a good actor. He's in so many good movies back then. And obviously he has, I believe, tongue cancer. And then that kind of, wrecked him. At least Tom Cruise honored him in that most recent Top Gun movie. I thought that movie was pretty good. I like those movies. Just regular old adventure action. Cool. Nobody has to feel any sort of, They didn't have to add a bunch of extra stuff to it to make it cool. It was just a cool movie. It's like the John Wick movies. Do I think that that's in a fiction world? Yeah, because all movies are. How's that? And it's fine when it's just going to be fully fiction. And I can just know that coming into it. And cool, great, it's fun. They have catchy lines. They try to be slick, and when you were a kid, you really like that too. You like those slick lines. But even the Tombstone ones hooked up. Anyways, I was going to say about Val Kilmer. His role as Jim Morrison in the Doors movie inspired my entire musical career. I remember I watched that movie 150,000 times. I would watch that movie twice a week for sure from 9th grade on. And it just made me feel like, you know what, I'm going to go out to the West Coast. I'm going to start a band. That's what I did. And we did it for 8 years. It was awesome. We didn't quite make the success of the Doors, obviously. Gee, not even close, clearly. But it was awesome, and it totally inspired like that. A movie inspired, darn near, or well, I would say a decade of my life. Isn't that interesting? So movies can do things sometimes. But getting back to Tombstone, I mentioned it to Andy, my partner there on the old UPD podcast. And I said, "You seen my wife and I watched Tombstone?" He goes, "Oh, I'm your huckle." What did he say? I wrote it down here. "I'm your hucklebearer." And I go, "That's not what he says." And he goes, "No, that's what they say. I know that." And I go, "Oh gosh, are you sure?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's a hucklebearer is the guy that carries the casket." And I go, "Is that just an internet thing that we think, or is that a real thing?" And he goes, No, that's what he says." And I go, "I just watched it 3 days ago, and he says, 'I'm your huckleberry.'" And he says it like very clearly. And he goes, No, I'm telling you, it's in the script." And I go, "All right." And I'm not, until I know, I don't know, but now I know because I'll look something up. So he does say, Andy, are you listening? He does say huckleberry. It's in the script, and that's exactly what he says, and that's what he says, and it's right. In the 1800s, I looked this up, there's an article in an 1887 Missouri newspaper that says, I'll be your huckleberry, and it's actually referring to the man for the job. It's, I'm the one you want, or I'm the right one for the job. That's what it means. And in fact, like they can find it in poems, and there's a cool poem that has it. It's another newspaper article in 1888, and it quotes this little poem, and it says, "I whispered, bending down my head, your lips are like a cherry. She took my meaning, laughed and said, well, I'm your huckleberry." So that is the saying. It's, I'm the one. The woman is saying, the man is saying, "Boy, your lips are pretty and I'd like to kiss them." And she says, "I'm the one that you can kiss. And these lips are ready to be kissed." And to that effect. So that's what "I'm your huckleberry" means, is I'm the one. Yeah, so that's what that means. But Andy, hey buddy, hold on, chill. Just in case, so you can be right in your own way. You're wrong about the movie, but you can be right. A hucklebearer is potentially a saying for a person that carries a casket. It's actually hokel, and hokel's an old English word, and it means a loop or a knot. I looked that up. So a hokel is a loop or a knot, and oftentimes that's the loop or knot that was tied on a casket. So if you were carrying a wooden box that had loops on it, not all of them did, you'd have a hokel loop that you grab and you carry the dead person. So he could have said that, however, he didn't. And there was a bunch of more articles that stated I'm the huckleberry. I probably read 5 or 6 of them, all separate news clippings. So "I'm your huckleberry" was a term that meant, I'm the one. I thought that was pretty cool. God, that movie was so good. Oh, there were so many parts, like when at the very end, when he goes to meet, when it's, the bad guy's there, and he's gonna have a gunfight, and he's gonna have a gunfight with Wyatt Earp, he thinks, and he's waiting there. And Ringo's the bad guy's name. Ringo's waiting there, and he just can't wait because he knows he's going to smoke Wyatt Earp. He's faster than Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp knows he's going to get smoked, and he thinks he's just left Doc Holliday, Val Kilmer, on his deathbed. Val's sick. He's got tuberculosis, which is cancer. He's dying from that. He's choking up blood. But what he doesn't know, what Wyatt doesn't know, is that his good buddy was playing possum. And he races out and gets around in that last, it's one of the last scenes, maybe the second to last big scene, second to last big scene, third to last, I don't know. You see just the shadows from two trees that are over. And you see Ringo's looking, he goes, I didn't think you'd show up. And then you just see Wyatt, or Doc Holliday, but you don't know. You just see a shadow walking from between these two trees, and it's shadow, and then all of a sudden the light cascades across his face. And you see Ringo just start to get a little, oh boy, he goes, my fight ain't with you. My fight ain't with you, Holliday. And he goes, oh no, that's what he does say the first thing. He goes, I'm your Huckleberry. He goes, I didn't think you'd show. And he goes, I'm your Huckleberry. And that's when you see his face. And he goes, my fight ain't with you, Holliday. And he goes, sir, I beg to differ. And he goes, and then they finally decide to fight. And it's so awesome because he shoots him in the head and it doesn't kill him, which is the most realistic, because it's very, very, very rare for anyone to shoot anyone and they die instantly. It's not a button that you push that turns the power off, though that can happen. It's rare. More frequently, somebody gets shot and they're super screwed up. Like, in fact, most people that try to kill themselves with a gun, sorry about bringing this stuff up. Boy, this might get demonetized if there ever was money ever involved. There's not. You look at the views. But when people do that, they don't die right away. It takes a while. It's awful. It's horrible. Some of them don't even die. So some people try to do that and don't complete it, and then they're just, hurt very badly, horribly disfigured. It's terrible. Gosh, that's so terrible. By the way, if you're ever a person that thinks about that, you can dial 866-SUICIDE and you can talk to somebody, or you can dial 911 and talk to somebody and you get some help. And the world's always better with you in it. I promise you that. Your value is never used up. You have so much value. And even if somebody's mad at you and told you that you don't, they're wrong. And it's an evil thing that they've done to you. And you can call out to those people that can help you. Or if you're dealing with struggles, you can call it to Jesus, and he's always there to help. And he loves you, and he created you for a special purpose. And maybe you feel like you haven't seen that purpose yet, but it's there, and it's waiting. And if you end it now, you'll never get to find out what that is, so don't do it. Call that number. Call any number. Call a loved one. Call a brother or a sister. And if they don't, call a neighbor. Go knock on a neighbor's door. Say, hey, I'm desperate. I need help. I know sometimes I get to that place where I talk like this, but man, it just grieves my heart that anybody would feel that way. I've had a family member do that before, and it's terrible. It's sad. The people that are left are hurt by it and confused, and then it also traumatizes people that live in that bloodline because they think, gosh, is that something I could possess? So man, you feel that way. That's not true about you, and go, and there's places you can go. You should do that. If you ever feel that way, if you ever know somebody that you think feels that way, go out and help them. Go get them. It's never a problem for you to get somebody Baker acted too. That sounds scary, but really it's just to protect them if you think they're in danger. Okay, there's me getting off my soapbox. Sorry, but I just want to be, I care about people, believe it or not. I pretend like I don't often though. Andy, everybody thinks I don't. I really do. I just put on a good show like I don't. But by the way, I love that little poem. I'm gonna read it again. I whispered, bending down my head, your lips are like a cherry. She took my meaning, laughed aloud, and said, well, I'm your Huckleberry. Isn't that cool and cute? I like rhyming poems. I remember in college, there'd be all these poems that didn't rhyme. And I know not every poem has to rhyme. Thank you. There's like different ways to write haikus and stuff, and that's a form of poetry, and that's fine too. Great, good. The in Fight Club they have that great one. The ants can leave the nest. The queen is their slave. Is the end part of it. I like those fine enough too, but maybe that's why I like rap music too. And then it bothers me when they don't rhyme in rap, because now they'll like not rhyme, and it's like you could have just tried harder to find something else, and instead you didn't rhyme. So now the song doesn't sync, and it's not right, and you know it's not right, but you're lazy. Oftentimes, most of these guys are, because there's so much. I brought up Outkast before, just the best. They always rhyme. They always kick butt. But there's a lot of other good stuff out there. I've been listening to this dude. Oh boy, what is his name? Jeez, LF, something like that. Jeez, of course I can't remember. Ugh, what a jerk. But he's a white guy that raps. Yeah, they do that too now. That's fine. His is great. I believe he's a Christian guy. And gosh, now Tim's the one who sent it to me, and now I can't think of it. Darn it! But it's 2 letters. It's just 2 letters. LF, I think, is what it is. I'm probably wrong there. And he's got just killer rhymes. And he doesn't swear in his rhymes, which is good because I can listen to it in the car with kids, like my nieces and my son, who's only 12. I don't like to listen to cursing stuff in the vehicle, swearing stuff in the vehicle, because then it's just like, what am I promoting here to these kids? You can't say these things that are happening that you're listening to. What a hypocrite. Yuck. But he did this. Oh, I've been listening to a bunch of that kind of stuff. I like Christian rap. More than that, I like rocking stuff. But I'll listen to that from time to time. You hit those certain days where you feel just maybe a little more flamboyant, and you want something that's a little more. It's got a little more like boom to it, a little more boom, boom. You got to get after that. Doosh. And you want to go pa 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 pa. So that's what I do. I'm wilding out. I'm sorry. I got to go pick up my kid from school. What is it? It's time. All right. Jeez Louise. All right. Jeez. So we talked about albino peacock. I'm going to put that video in there. It's kind of cool. It's just short. It's just a little albino. But there's a bunch of them. I thought it was special when I made the video, so maybe you'll think it's special, but it turns out it's not, unfortunately. How not to pay a compliment to Johnny. If you see me in the future, you don't have to disclaimer. I don't have that. It does more harm than good. Just kidding. So we did that. We talked about Tombstone. Ooh, next time, look at this. Next time, maybe episode 78. I've got the sheriff's office report. Can you see this? Sheriff's office report for the local sheriff's office. Oh, I love that. Those are funny. There's a bunch of funny stuff in here. There always is. I try not to read them first because I want to be surprised. So I actually haven't read these, and then we're going to go over them. It's sheriff's, and then it's police department. It's always like, ooh, it's fun. Trying to say some of these names is the most interesting. Deontay. Yeah. Let's see. We'll just do one quick. See already. Lenishia Hauser of Eustis for violation of probation, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Are you buying beer for kids? I bet it's Lenishia Hauser. Okay. Stop buying booze for kids, goofball. Kids don't need that. Just let their parents buy the booze for them, okay? All right, that's it. We had fun today. Thank you so much for joining me. This was Johnny Hansen's Lofty Thoughts, episode 77. We had some good ideas. We had a heck of a lot of fun. I just want to pray that you have a great day, and I want to pray that you have a deep and a fulfilling relationship with Jesus, and that he blesses you all the days of your life. Have a great afternoon. Thanks again.